So I'm Askar Sheibani. I am CEO of a telecommunication company called Comtek Network Systems UK Limited, and also I am chair of Deeside Business Forum, which we call it DBF, but we've got about 2,500 members and supporters throughout North Wales and Cheshire area as well. So we are in contact with all the members, and this is a grassroots organization, campaigning organization, I would say, within the small business community. Well, it is all well-known fact that the bureaucracy deployed within the borders of Europe and UK is hampering the businesses. Businesses always, for a long time, complained about red tape, bureaucracy, and we have seen that how frustrating it can be. But this new bureaucracy that was introduced by Brexit is really damaging the businesses. I'll give you an example. If I want to send a unit from a product from UK to Germany, we've got to have a commercial invoice. We've got to have write down the origin of the product in details, so on. And you've got to become an expert in filling this type of forms. If you make a mistake, it will get to the border, it will be compounded, and you cannot do anything. And it can be there for weeks until the problem is resolved. So you've got to be absolutely meticulously knowledgeable and be detailed about what you are supplying to Europe. Exactly the same thing applies to Europeans sending the products or services to UK. So it's an extra burden, extra cost, delays, damages the relationship between the customers and suppliers. This has been, it's so frustrating. Some European businesses, they would not deal with UK. They don't want to go through all this pain. And some of the UK businesses, they decided not to deal with European business. So they only stick into within UK. So is it damaging the businesses? Of course it is damaging the businesses. Can these businesses really export to USA or the other countries? No, they don't want to, because they don't like bureaucracy. The smaller businesses, I'm talking about large businesses, they can cope with it. The smaller businesses, they can't. They don't want to get involved with the kind of bureaucracy. They don't have time, especially after the pandemic. They have been all going through a major crisis, financial crisis. Adding extra burden is just damaging them very, very badly. Now, there are organizations, and they may not be impacted. Software organizations, for instance, they trade globally without any real barriers. But this is damaging for smaller businesses predominantly, I would say. And I believe the damage this is going to cause the UK economy will be much, much greater than pandemic has. Pandemic will finish and we'll get back to normality. That is a reality. But this is an ongoing, permanent. So it will continue this madness which introduced amongst the business community and business relationship between Europeans and UK. Of course, it will have an impact. We do not know the degree of issues. For instance, if UK wants to deal with the United States, in the United States, their food standards are very, very different from European Union. So, so you've got to act in a trade deal. You've got to it's a give and take. You can't always take. That's impossible. It's just like in business. When we negotiate in a business, it's a give and take. It is. So you can't have everything what you want. And this, the same thing is going to happen in the future for standard of the food. And we've got no choice. If you want to trade, you've got to accept the pluses and minuses. And yeah, I agree with that. We have to reduce our standard of our food. And Europe is pretty strong and tough in food standards, which is good for our health and the trust. But the thing is, UK is very good in exporting food as well, because our standards have been very good for a long time, especially in North Wales. We've got a lot of food manufacturing organizations. Their products are well trusted internationally because there is a stringent type of regulation. So that helps our businesses, our manufacturers of food to export, because overseas they see if it is coming from UK, it's got a strong regulation, which is really European regulations. So export was highly efficient and successful. And that can have negative impact on our food manufacturing and standard food. If it goes down, Europeans will be very reluctant to purchase from UK. So there is something you've got to think about it. There's going to be a concern about the public and businesses. I think that obviously, as I mentioned before, pandemic will be fine. It will finish, and we'll get back to normality as far as pandemic is concerned. When it comes to Brexit, that'll be permanent damage. One of the things we learned recently from Russian and Ukrainian war, that how important it was Europeans and West getting together. European solidarity was absolutely important to be able to combat this aggressive invasion. And there is a threat and also reliance on Russia. And this, we are living in an uncertain environment now. Globally, there are a lot of uncertainties. The European Union was a very good platform to all European countries helping each other, trusting each other, being around the same table, talking to each other. Creating a comradeship was essential in this uncertain global situation we are in. We do not know what China is going to do. We do not know what kind of uncertainties we have got around the corner. Sticking with the European Union, helping each other, it just protects us against any uncertainties, protects us against any serious economic downfall. And also, it's a kind of insurance that if something disaster happens in one country, everybody's within that club helping each other to rescue that nation. So it has got so much benefit. Those will go away, and we have seen that recent Russian and Ukrainian scenario, how it was. Actually, that's taught us a good lesson to British and Europeans. We've got to rely on each other. And it's sad that during this difficult time between Ukraine and Russia, UK wasn't around the table with European Union. Although they helped each other, but imagine how great it would have been as just one united voice, how powerful it could have been. Brexit was a political thing by certain people like Nigel Farage. They had a different agenda. It was an economical decision. It was a very nationalistic type of unwise agenda that certain politicians, they took on board, and they made themselves popular. They brought in very simple slogans. Normally you find that happening in any nation. And these simple nationalistic slogans energizes people, gives the wrong information, and it's quite dangerous. And we have seen it in Russia. They are doing it as well. But this is unfortunate. A democratic decision has been made, but the UK is a highly democratic nation, and you've got to, even although this is not a good decision, it was not economic decision. It is too late. It's a water under the bridge. But however, I think that if we do nothing, if we do not bring a close relationship with Europe, my fear is there will all the other nations like Scotland will become independent eventually, and possibly even Wales. There is a tendency in Wales to move away, and that's growing. And that's Brexit has ignited that feeling that if we come out of United Kingdom and join European Union, we'll be better off. And they see that Southern Ireland, their economy is better, their social benefits are much better, education is higher, and the standard is much higher than in Wales or England. And so they see no reason, but Wales can be the same thing. It's only 3 million population, great ports it's got, access to Ireland and the world, and can trade with Europe quite successfully. So it's got a fantastic manufacturing, especially north east Wales, around Deeside, Wrexham. We've got some of the best manufacturing organizations which trade globally. So there's a tendency they could move away, and that's not good for the United Kingdom. And we do not, in Northern Ireland already, there's a tendency is moving away from United Kingdom and towards Southern Ireland being a United Ireland. And a number of people are now, if there's a referendum, I believe in Northern Ireland, because we get an office in Belfast, we use that to trade with Europe. It makes it a lot easier for us from there, because Northern Ireland is in single currency. And we see the tendency there that a lot of people are changing their mind. And I believe that if there is a referendum, we will find that people want to join South, be a United Ireland. And also, even in general election we have in Northern Ireland, it's very likely the pro-European party like Sinn Féin could become the majority party, and the first minister could be from there. That's what the expectations are. And so it is not good for the United Kingdom to keep itself away. It's economically damaging, socially is bad, and bad for the United Kingdom as a country. All my trade now for the European Union goes through Belfast, all of it, none from Deeside. And the number of people we have employed in Belfast office is increasing. We are already employing more people. It is seamless. I can trade without any problem. But on the other hand, there's a cost implication that we've got to send goods from Deeside to Belfast, vice versa as well. But Belfast has been a fantastic asset for us. Without Belfast, our business could have been heavily damaged. But yeah, that in itself shows importance of connection with European Union. But not a lot of the businesses in Peninsula in North Wales, they don't have access to an office in Belfast. They can't do that. They don't have an office in Europe. I've got an office in Germany, and I can deal with German office. There was a big contract we were bidding for recently, and they insisted that we should have an office in German, that we should be trading from German office. And I said, fine, we will do that. But there were a lot of other British companies, they could have bid for that contract. They were disallowed because they don't want the hassle of this movement of the goods through these bureaucratic barriers. So we are my company is in a better position. We are a global company, but there are a lot of businesses in North Wales. They have a problem, major problem. So the time will tell what will happen, especially now everything prices are going up, and the global uncertainty. If British government doesn't do nothing to deal with European situation and get closer to European Union, I think that we will suffer. Single trading, the seamless trading, like we have got what we've got from Belfast, that we should be able to trade seamlessly without barriers with Europe. Okay, if they don't want to talk, if they are worried about freedom of movement, we can put up with that. But having single market is going to be the key. So my advice to British government would be, let's move into the direction of being part of single market. This is what long time ago, even Nigel Farage was asking for long time ago. He changed his mind. So it is not something that all Brexiteers were against it, but what they were always against it, freedom of movement. They thought they want to stop the immigration. Now that we can see that we've got a huge amount of shortage of skilled forces, skilled workforce, and that is damaging organizations. We've got hardly any truck drivers, so goods cannot be moved about the UK. So a lot of these young, energetic workforce we used to have, they've all disappeared from UK. Well, that's bad, it's not good. But on the other hand, we can put off with that as long as there is we are part of single market.